So here we can do some of the basic escapes from some general side control positions. So the first is going to be where my partner controls my outside hip here, and then he just has his hands in my near side collar back here. Yep. So basically his hand placement is going to dictate which way my hips are allowed to move and how I can recover. So from here, what I like to do is just get either a grip on his back of his collar here. I can go inside, but I want some control on his head here. My other is I'm going to have my other hand here checking right on his hips. From here, I'm just going to do a basic bridging escape, but the key is to change my angle before I do it. So from here, I want to step out, and now we're getting more towards a 45-degree move, so that when I go to bridge, I'm now going to be bridging in this direction here. I think what people have the hardest time with is when they try and bridge from this 90-degree position, I have to push all of his weight. I'm pushing into his legs, basically. And so the point of changing my position here, I bring my back of my head to my shoulder. So when I bridge, I'm now pushing him right off of me. And it actually gets easier as we push. From here, most of the time, he's gonna stay on his knees, and I'm going to just look to come to recover more of a guard type position. So again, either my grip is on the collar here or just pushing his head. My other hand is on the hips. I'm changing the angle here. So now we're on more of a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to push right in the direction of his shoulder coming this way. So I move my head out of the way so my bridge can come up. Now I've made all this space here. I use my hand on his hip and his collar to pull me back into him, and I can recover more of a guard type position. So one more. Step out. So that's option one, where he grabs the collar and the outside hip. Scenario two is going to be he's going to place both on the same side. So he's going to have his hand on the near side collar, and now he has my inside hip. So there's no way for me to be able to bring my feet back in with him blocking my hip to the inside. So now this means that this outside area is free. So what I'm going to do here is do what we call the running escape. So I'm just going to bridge up and pop to get my inside arm free and bring it in onto his chest. From here, my top leg is now what's going to be important. And so I get up onto my side, my foot comes to the mat here, and I can come up, swinging my feet around and recovering guard here. So the biggest thing here is now I don't really want my hand to be on his hip here necessarily, but bringing them in close to my body so that when I bump, I can try and make a little space for me to move. From here now, I'm going to look to get on my side. My feet are gonna come up to the mat, and from here, my hips come up, and I can walk my feet around the mat and try and get back to a closed guard position. So that's scenario two. Same side, hip and collar. Now we can go to, if he has kind of overhook control on my opposite side. Yep. and this one can go to the front as well. Yeah. So I've basically now I've lost this back hand, and I can't necessarily just pull it out because it can expose my arm to some attacks. So we're kind of stuck with leaving this hand in. From here, what I'm going to look to do is, again, I'm going to try and to create some space. So my outside foot is going to come out, and I'm going to start to bridge into him here. The biggest thing here is I can't let this back foot come off the mat. As soon as I let this back foot in, he can come, I have no post, and he can flatten me back out, and I'm stuck again at square one. So from here, as soon as I get this big shrimp out, I'm going to come up, and this is going to be my post as I continue this escape here. So from here, what I want to do is just use my foot on the mat here, and I can walk my hips back until I get into almost pushing my hips here, and I can come up and either look to attack, or at least I've created some space and I've escaped the position there. So again, I have the underhook here, and I have my other hand here on the hips. My outside foot's going to come out, and I'm going to shrink away, turning onto my side. And here I have to keep this foot planted, otherwise he'll just flatten me out, and I can use this bottom foot to shrimp away, move my hips coming here, and get to my knees. Option number 4. This is going to be when our partner now has head control from the top side. So he comes down, and for whatever reason I let him kind of get the cross face on me. So I've already made a few mistakes here, but now we want to talk about what to do from here. So there's two main options. First is I want to make some space and stretch this top arm out. So from here I want to push his head and his hips down while trying to scoot back. Basically what I want to do is extend his arm a little bit so that now I can look to control his shoulder. From here, my hand's going to come over the top, and my hips are going to come up into him. And I want to, again, drive the shoulder down into the mat. From here, my shoulder can come up. I'm going to come up here and come up into a top side type position. So he's giving me the cross face. First thing I want to do is get his chest lower on my body. So I'm going to push down towards my hips with my hand on his hip and hand on his head, and use my feet to shrimp me away from him here. Once his arm is stretched, I'm going to come over the top, right over his shoulder here, trying to plant his shoulder on the mat. My other hand can come up on my elbow, and I'm going to look to roll him. Yeah. If he does use his head to post, I can normally look to finish an armbar type position from there. So we're here, we come up, he uses his head to post. Basically I can get kind of a Gatame style lock with my shoulder coming up over his elbow here. Otherwise, he has to bring his face towards me, my hips come up, and we can land here. Last option for this video. Same scenario. He's got my head. but maybe it's in too deep or he's just too strong or something and I can't get the space necessary to look to do the arm wrapping and shoulder down to the mat. So from here, what I'm going to do is my elbow side hand is going to come in and I'm going to look to shrimp out and punch the sky with his elbow, kind of releasing my head. So my shoulders come up and my hand comes up here. From here, all I want to do is control the elbow. So we're going to do the same kind of style escape from here, but most likely it's not going to end in a roll. He's going to still try and more of a scramble position to stay on his knees. Yep, and I just want to control this hand and shrimp away. So here, as long as I have control of this elbow, he can't come back into me, and I can look to recover more of a open guard type scenario. And again, he's gotten in too deep. I can't create the separation that I need. So let's so this bottom hand is going to come in nice and tight and come right under the elbow here. From here, I'm going to shrimp on my side, grabbing his elbow and pushing it straight up. And here I come up on my elbow again, keeping control of his arms, shrimping away until I'm ready to turn back into him. So those are some common scenarios on how different hand placement can dictate what escape you can use from bottom side.